Today, just a couple of months into its operation, we're taking a flight deck ride on Air Greenland's A330neo into Nuuk, the capital. Up until late 2024, the A330 could only land at Kangerlussuaq, a 45-minute -8 flight from Nuuk. But now, with a brand new terminal and even newer lengthened runway, we can fly directly there. Stay tuned for the whole experience on the flight from Copenhagen, and we'll learn what goes into this new operation, including some of its challenges and how they're managing them. Welcome to Copenhagen, and we are flying with Nuuk, Air Greenland's beautiful big red A330-800neo again to Greenland. Now, we've been here before, we've done this a few times. In fact, Greenland was kind of what started things off properly on this channel. If you have been here since then, or if you've seen the videos from that first trip with the old A330 that they used to have, whose name escapes me. I should not have forgotten it like that. But flew in there in the flight deck and then did jump seat also on the -8 up to Ilulissat, which was still one of my favorite videos that I shot and one of the most amazing things I've ever seen from an airplane coming into land at Ilulissat. But today we're doing this again because there is a new runway in Greenland and it allows us to fly directly to Nuuk instead of to the old former military airfield in Kangerlussuaq, Sundestrømsfjord. We can now fly directly to Nuuk because they lengthened that runway, they have a new terminal there, and cut out that kind of hub stop. So it's much more convenient for people going to and from the capital. And I'm going to be in the flight deck to show what it looks like, especially cool to see how it is as we come into land on this big thing into Nuuk. I know Nuuk has a tiny runway, just like many of Greenland's airports, with, you know, the ability to handle a -8, maybe not too much more than that. Now it's much longer, it can handle an A330, assuming the weather cooperates. They've been having some issues with weather. I'm going to ask them about that. I'm very curious how they're managing that, because the weather on the coast of Greenland does tend to be worse than the weather, which is famously quite stable at Kangerlussuaq. That was one of the big appeals of that hub. So doing that, then connecting up to Sisimiut on the -8, a new place for me, just above the Arctic Circle, spending a couple days there, and I hope you'll follow along. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you don't miss out on all this good stuff. And as always, love it if you like, leave your comments. I want to hear your thoughts, what you think. Also, I'll put a link down below to a playlist that contains all of the Greenland videos. There's definitely at least 3 or 4 hours there for you to dive into and binge. Please feel free, we like it when you do that. And let's do it. Let's see if they're gonna let me on early. Hopefully, it's nice when they do that. I can get some clean cabin shots and set up without too much rush. I met Lise here, who is originally from Cuba, living in Denmark, and she's going to Greenland for the first time in January, and her family and friends think she's crazy. I think it's a great idea. Amazing.
Configuration checklist. Gear pins and covers.
No.
Fuel quantity.
600 tail and 44 height.
I just need your attention just for the briefing of being here. To operate this seat,
Yep.
I mean, it can go, if I push this one, you can go out and forward.
Okay, good.
So it works like in an L. So it's and if you want to go up and down, it's vertical. It's going to be using your weight. So you need to lift your legs if you want to go higher.
Yep.
So and then you can adjust also the vertical incline. And these are of course very convenient. And we need, of course, for takeoff and landing, it needs to be stowed like this. When we're airborne, we have yellow vest for you guys here.
Yep.
And I assume that you have used these seals before and you know what it is. So you just unbuckle while twisting it.
Yeah.
Okay. If something happens and we need to leave the flight deck, then this door is going to be closed until 10,000 feet, and of course it's going to be cold all the flight. But if you want to vacate it, just turn, twist and pull. Twist and pull. If for any reason the door is jammed, you need to take this side, push, turn, then you can kick this out. So it's not for obese people. But that's keep us with the BMI. It keeps us, you know, going to the doctor to keep us fit. So that was one way to exit the flight deck. Another way is to use the emergency exits by the windows. And for that you need to push this lever down and pull the track backwards, We're gonna have an escape rope out of the window, throw it out, and there's only one set of gloves, and I'm gonna take those, so you can have burn your fingers. And then we turn out the window. So just we have something called star rail flight deck. So it's if we do a gesture like this, don't speak. Then and I will let you know when we are above 10,000 feet, so you can speak freely again. Any concerns? Any questions? All right.
The oxygen mask.
Yeah, good, good. The oxygen mask is down here, yeah. The oxygen mask is here, and you pull this red, and then you breathe. Yeah. And there is also headsets for you guys. Good. You mentioned the oxygen. I forgot about it. Good stuff.
That's good CRM.
Yeah, CRM exactly, highest level. Good morning, Greenland 781.
Greenland 781, go on, go ahead.
Morning at power 10, we're gonna push in 5 to 10, but we are requesting to be in queue for de-ice.
Roger, there's no queue, so I'll just put you for de-icing on platform Bravo.
On platform Bravo, thank you, Greenland 781.
Flying time this far in 15 minutes, so latest love for Nuuk.
We have a spurious error on this aircraft. It happened once or twice. It has been entered into the check log that we might, after the engine start, we might have an pack temperature control valve message on the engine warning display. And the operational item, right now there's no technical errors in the check log, but if it we had it last week. If it appears, we just need to push the push button for the pack 1 or pack 2 to off. That is the operational item for the AML procedure for this pack temperature control valve. So we are kind of prepared if it will happen, and the technical department has asked to just monitor if it will happen. So we have it ready. We use lead pressure, I mean that is high pressure air from the engines that we take some air, and then this air is used to something called a pack. It's an air cycle machine that basically used to both pressurize the vessel. That means that we're entering more air to the cabin than we're taking out. But the other thing is it mixes cold air with hot air, and then we have the temperature that we desire. Alright, so we need to go now.
So we did have it. Air pack regulator fault.
Behind traffic.
It says that air pack,
runway 30.
if air pack overheats, that's another one we have. That we should take
Sun
off.
Express 3 Romeo Bravo, contact tower 118.580. Scandal David 2271, George Taxiway Yankee, short of Taxiway Quebec.
Short of Quebec, Pack 2 regulator fault. I'm talking to the de-ice person on the channel 2, which is the COM2. Thing is, we cannot see our wings from here, so we cannot know if they're complete. We can see the outers. Just waiting. The waiting game. So, hello, Greenland 781 coming up, Echo 1.
Greenland 781, hello, wind 19 0 east 10 knots, runway 2 to right, clear takeoff.
Runway 2 to right, clear takeoff, Greenland 781, good day. You're strapped in. Take out first set. Rotate. Positive climb. That's zone. We check zone.
As soon as we were up at cruise, I asked the pilots about how it's going with operating into Nuuk and dealing with some of its infamous bad weather.
Basically, there's nothing wrong with Nuuk. But just compared to Sønderstrøm, where we've been operating for many years, the envelope that we could operate within was, it was bigger. It was longer runway, better weather. Now it's a shorter runway, more marginal. Of course, we have a go, no-go, but normally we used to have maybe 800 meters excess runway. Now we maybe only have 40 meters excess runway. But we do experience that the envelope has shrunk, and the cocktail make it, that we have challenging weather, so it's difficult for the guys to clear the runway. And when it's difficult for them to clear the runway, we go into the calculations. I think 2 diversions was due to runway conditions, and 1 was due to wind. I cannot remember.
So it's about braking distance on the contaminated runway.
Yeah, as long as the runway is only wet, it's when the runway is contaminated. Very often we have snow conditions in Greenland and Nuuk, so they have to battle the sweeping and to keep the runway clear of deposits or contamination. And together with maybe where the wind also more variable at Nuuk than they were in Sunday. So you do a calculation, then the runway changes to the other side. For the pilots it's much more work. We have the margins, so it's not anywhere unsafe, but it's just to get to Nuuk is a little bit more challenging. And of course, it's a new airport. The guys that are clearing the runways need to have maybe an upgraded equipment, more training, and you cannot just have an airport that is operated in so hostile environment and just have it up and running from day one without, as I say, challenges.
So do you think it might be something that gets better over time?
I'm positive. Right now we have issues with a fuel truck that can only deliver 5 tons of fuel because they haven't got the right equipment for our aircraft in Greenland yet. It will come in February, I've heard. I'm just a brick in the puzzle, so I don't know the entire picture of what's going on with the sweeping, the fuel trucks and stuff like that. But no one has done it before, and it's not like going to the moon, but sometimes you will have challenges that maybe have not been highlighted in the planning phase. It's for sure interesting to operate into Nuuk.
Do you now no longer treat Sønderstrøm as an alternate? I noticed the diversions have happened to Keflavik, right?
It's also something to do with if we are not landing in Nuuk for diversion and we come with 308 guests, then Sønderstrøm is not able just to find hotel rooms for 300 persons. And this is why we are using Keflavik as an alternate. And also the fact that we need the aircraft the day after for the next load of passengers. That is, we cannot just stay in Sønderstrøm or Keflavik for that matter and try again the day after because then 300 guests. So it is an operational, I think it's a company decision that we are actually going back to Denmark if we are not able to make a landing. It's 56 minutes old, and the actual conditions for Nuuk right now is that the wind is coming from east, 5 knots, good visibility, only few clouds, and the temperature is -10. And the forecast reports of maybe broken clouds at 5,000 feet, so and we're temporary for the next 24 hours of 2,000 meters in snow. So hopefully we should have a good approach. Right now the plan is that we are gonna come in via Kunik. We are coming from here somewhere via Kunik, then a step down to make a straight in approach. You will have the city here. I think that there's 18 or 19,000 inhabitants in Nuuk. It's not the biggest city. And then the runway is like this, and when you make a 180, you go all the way to the end, make a 180 and vacate via Alpha, and then our stand will be stand number 1. But we every time we fly this sector we are monitoring the weather for any deterioration, and so we know what to expect. It's much easier to fly around in Europe, and there is every 30 nautical miles there's an airport with an ILS. Here the next airport is maybe half an hour, 1 hour away. This temporary area of snow when we arrive, or it can be 1 hour after we arrive, or 1 hour before, because snow showers is snow showers. It's like rain showers. I'm talking about the minimums for Nuuk, and it's not easy just to say A or B or C. It depends on what our missed approach climb gradient is, and today we are coming in with a pretty heavy load. We're going to be, I think, 500 kilo from the max landing mass of 186 tons. So we're probably not going to be able to make a 5% go-around gradient, not even 4. We're probably going to be at 2.5% gradient. Our minimum is going from 500 feet all the way up to 1450 feet. And of course, as long as the clouds are high, it's just an academic value. But the days where we can expect low clouds, then we probably gonna land with a configurations of flap 3. So instead of flaps full, flaps 3, because it gives us better climb gradient, and thereby we can maybe lower the minima too. We're making the calculations via an app called FlySmart, and we will enter the data when we have them at hand when we are approaching. I think today we had to offload 500 kilos of mail, 308 passengers, a lot of cargo, and we were limited by the maximum landing mass. If we were to be, as I told you before, with the lack of fuel available in Nuuk, then we do tanker fuel, because it sounds probably ridiculous, but if we take more than 5 tons of fuel, I think it's actually 4.5, then the fuel truck needs to go away from the airport, drive down to the city at the port, refill the fuel truck and come back again to the airport. And that's a 45-minute event. So this is what I meant about the challenges, that Nuuk is not like New York City or JFK, where you have multiple fuel trucks, and so there's 2 fuel trucks, and they have ordered fuel truck with a bigger capacity, but they will arrive in February. So right now we do carry more fuel to Nuuk, so we don't need to wait maybe 3 hours to get fuel, because we can easily take 15-20 tons, and that would mean that the fuel truck needs to go back and forth to the port 3 times. That's 2 hours just for that event. And we have other colleagues flying Dash 8 that also want to take fuel. So this is the actual weather for Nuuk right now. We're gonna make a calculation how would that affect our landing distance right now. So in Nuuk, runway 04, the wind is 0 at 0 at 7, and the temperature is -9. QNH 984. Now I need to go in and find out what is the runway conditions right now. Luckily now we have code 555. So 100% contaminated with 3 mm dry snow. Taxiway poor, runway condition code. Also we have a free coefficient of 454848. We have right now a margin of 324 meters as of today, with a gradient of 3.9. As I said before, if you want to have the gradient of 4 or 5 to have the lower minima, you can enter the figures and see what can we do. Now we'll probably say, warning, landing requirement not fulfillment due to the fact that we want to have this gradient. It can only offer me 4.5. So I'm just gonna play with the figures and I say, okay, let's do a config 3. So right now with config 3 we have 5.1%. Configuration 3 is that we have 2 landing configurations in this aircraft, either full, which is equivalent to, let's say, the figure 4, or 3. And that means that the trailing edge flaps are going further down and are actually being used both as brakes and enhance the area of the wing, which makes the lift bigger at slow speed. If we're gonna back to the figures, we have with configuration of 3, we need to cross the threshold at a speed of 150 knots. And if I'm gonna land with config full, I don't know if it will give me the figure, but then our threshold speed would be lowered from 150 to 144. So that's 6 knots less, or 10 kilometers per hour. And of course we have then 6 knots less that we need to decelerate and the inertia of the mass. But in this case, because of the slight headwind today, we're actually able to both have benefits of the low CAT-C minima of 520 feet and be able to be on the runway with a margin of 214 meters. And I've been flying into Nuuk sometimes, and I've never been, disappointed by the figures. It's always been very conservative set. A lot of wiggling with the gradients, the flap configuration. I mean, the landing mass we cannot do anything about unless we just want to, hold for 1 hour. And the weather is not also out of our control if it's headwind and especially the runway condition, which is also a very big factor of our decision making.
Yeah.
Do you have one of these yet?
Flight level 340 maintaining.
Descent flight level 320 now.
Descent flight level 320 now, Greenland 781. Oh, Alan is not going to be happy about that. I don't know if he will be satisfied with 600 feet per minute. Probably it's no problem. 320.
Does that happen sometimes?
It's very seldom that is. We have still 1 hour to go, 1:20, so we will descend in 30 minutes anyway. So it's 50 minutes early, and it's not like way down. It probably cost us 1 ton. I think it was maybe 500 kilograms.
What kind of traffic situation would necessitate descending that much?
I don't know. It's probably some traffic who doesn't have ADS-B or ADS-C. Because right now I cannot see him on there is some. It could be something, happening in 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Bad news, Captain. Descent flight with 320, 1,500 feet per minute.
Well, that's if you're watering.
320 blue, vertical speed 1500. Average speed down to 80.
Yes.
You have controls? Unfortunately, we have been asked to leave flight level 380 and descend flight level 320. If you look on the area for the turbulence, you should have less turbulence in flight level 380 than at flight level 320. Now we are coming to the east coast of Greenland, and we're going to have to inform the cabin that they can expect some turbulence for maybe in 10 minutes time. Already in 5 minutes maybe.
Grønlands kyst, så kommer vi ned til noget turbulens formentlig.
Hvor lang tid går der?
Der går cirka 10 minutter, vil jeg tro.
Okay, jeg ringer lige rundt til dem alle sammen.
Well, right now you can see that we have 62 knots of tailwind, so our true airspeed is 451 and our ground speed is 514. So we're getting a good push towards Nuuk. Estimate landing is in 1 hour and 10 minutes. We have an updated weather, so it's 60 degrees at 6 knots. However, due to the fact that the variation is 24 west, we're gonna add, so it's gonna be 084. What's the temperature? Minus 10. Runway condition is now 4. Engine NGI is probably engine only. Landing mass is gonna be what? 185.5. Alan is gonna be the pilot flying, so he's gonna be preparing the approach and give me a briefing of how he's gonna land in Nuuk International Airport. This is our top of descent, and if we would be above this guy, then we could not descend through his level. That's why he took half an hour ago, he took the decision to put us down below this guy, because we have not been able to overtake him. I think before we were something like 40 nautical miles, and now he's like 55 or something like that. So he could not plan that he will just leave us. There will be an issue in half an hour's time when we ask for descent.
So you're not bothered about minus 39?
Yeah, it's default.
It's just the warning that comes at 39 means that some point soon you will get in trouble. But the Jet A1 freezing point is minus 47, so it's a long way up before it will be an issue for us.
But it gives us a head up, so we have maybe 1 hour to react until it gets a problem, or 2 hours.
So what would you have to do if you did need to address it?
Would be a problem. We could descend to get more warmer air around the wing, or we can increase the speed, then the temperature around the wing will also be higher and the fuel temperature will rise.
What I suggest is we take the outer tank transfer, which is this one.
It's already doing that.
So if we open the outer tank transfer, then the cold fuel, the 39, will be mixed with a warmer fuel of -19, and then we can eliminate this fuel from freezing in the outer tanks.
Right.
That's basically the first thing we will do. And if not sufficient, we can either increase speed or descent. Morning Greenland 781, we are at flight level 320. Estimate for position number is at time 1416, and we are planning an approach for runway 04 at Nuuk.
Greenland 781, we are established on the localizer runway 04 and we are 9 miles from Nuuk.
Greenland 781, roger, no reported traffic, runway 04, wind 070, magnetic 6 knots, approach lights 100%.
No reported traffic, Greenland 781. Under low.
70, 50, 30, 20, retard, 5.
Spoilers. Reverse is green. Diesel.
Auto brake off.
Greenland 781, we had negative turbulence.
So if you need 7 tons now, that means he's going to have to do the trip down to the port.
Unfortunately. But we have the whole day written off this exercise anyway. Brakes hot. Delay takeoff, then we delay takeoff. May I clear brakes hot?
That's the good about it. It's -10, it doesn't take so long before they are back to normal.
Right, yeah. It's not like landing in Abu Dhabi.
No.
Bienvenido, Cuba.
Llegué.
Increíble.
Ay, mis hijos deben estar, mi familia en Cuba. Esta niña loca.
beautiful flight into Nuuk, just as picturesque as expected. It's interesting how it's different from coming into the old Kangerlussuaq, because there you're flying over ice cap right until the end, until that approach where you circle around usually and land toward the east, whereas here you're coming in over those coastal Greenlandic mountains for quite a while and making that sharp right turn to line up, and it was right down to close to the minimums, so made for an interesting visual experience. And as always, amazing to see this part of the world, any part of the world really, from those cockpit windows. Hope you enjoyed it, and let me know what you thought below. It's cool to be in this Nuuk terminal now for the second time. I was here for the inaugural to Iqaluit. If you haven't seen that, I'll stick that link down below. Make sure to watch it. But at that time, the terminal was just open and there was nobody here, and there certainly wasn't any duty-free or functioning cafe, and now it's bustling. I'm actually amazed at how many people are here, considering it's January. It's not like it's peak tourist season as far as I know, and this place is jammed. And it's nice to see it active, actually. But I guess it's a lot like how Kangerlussuaq always was when you pass through there. But that place is very tiny. This place has the soaring ceilings and everything nice and new and fresh still, so that's cool. Gonna wait around here until my next flight up to Sisimiut on the good old trusty Dash 8. Catch you next time. Thanks for following along. Thanks for watching in Nuuk. For Flight Radar 24, I'm Gabe Lee.